This is the Killer Squadron, a group of naval warships assembled by the Indian Navy during the 1971 Indo-Pakistan War. They were on a trajectory towards Karachi Port, with one goal in mind: to set the Karachi Port on fire while remaining undetected. But standing in their way was PNS Khaibar, a formidable Pakistani destroyer. This was no ordinary ship. Khaibar had been a key member of the fleet that bombarded the city of Dwarika in 1965. The fate of Indian Navy rested in the hands of this small group. Today we are diving into the story, how they overcame incredible challenges to destroy Karachi Port and redefine Indian Navy's legacy. During the 1965 Indo-Pakistan War, Indian Navy did not play a major role. During Operation Dwarika, Pakistan Navy bombarded Indian Navy's radar stations, but Indian Navy did not retaliate. They were not prepared for naval warfare because their primary focus always was on defense of coastal territories. To prevent similar situation in future, India therefore increased its naval budget from 35 crores to 115 crores. They requested Western countries, including Britain, for modern warships, but Britain refused due to its close ties with Pakistan. India had only one other option. They acquired 6 OSA-class missile boats from the Soviet Union, which were primarily designed for coastal defense and anti-ship warfare. During the 1971 Bangladesh Liberation War, Pakistani army killed about 30 lakh Bengalis. It was a genocide. As a result of this, approximately 2 to 4 lakh refugees fled to India. But this was an economical strain on India that they simply couldn't afford. Therefore, India started assisting the resistance movement of the Bengali military and civilians with arms and ammunition. The then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi had concluded that war was more economical than sustaining refugees. Due to India's actions, Pakistan decided to launch an offensive counter-airstrike, codenamed Operation Genghis Khan. They targeted 11 forward air bases and radar installation of the Indian Air Force on the evening of 3rd December 1971. In an address to the nation on radio that same evening, Indira Gandhi hailed the airstrike to be a declaration of war against India. How was India going to respond to this airstrike against an opponent who was at that time economically more powerful and received constant funding from Western allies? India planned to attack the Karachi port. They wanted to target Karachi specifically because it was the backbone of Pakistan's maritime trade and economy. It also housed the headquarters of Pakistan Navy and almost its entire fleet. So blocking Karachi would have caused an immediate economic crisis in Pakistan. But it was not easy. Karachi was the most heavily guarded port of Pakistan. A direct assault was very dangerous. Therefore, Indian Navy's Admiral S.M. Nanda devised a plan to enter Karachi port at night, because Pakistan's Air Force did not possess night bombing capabilities. But S.M. Nanda's plan had few issues. First, India didn't have any advanced warships. Therefore, they had to repurpose the OSA-class missile boats, which were primarily designed for coastal defense, into a warship that could be used for offensive attacks. Second, these boats were armed with 4 Soviet-made surface-to-surface stick missiles, which had a range of just 40 nautical miles. Thus, they had to get very close to their target to cause any damage. This raised the risk of being detected. Furthermore, these boats were designed for fast mobility over armor protection. Thus, if they got detected, their operation would have failed. Third, they had insufficient fuel capacity. Thus, they had to be towed by larger ships. This again increased the risk of being detected. 2 OSA-class missile boats, INS Nirghat and INS Vidyut, which were already present at the Okha port, were ordered to be armed with fuel and ammunition at 6 pm. Just before sunrise, they received another order to proceed towards Karachi, but under strict radio silence to avoid detection. But after sailing few miles, INS Vidyut encountered engine failure. It stopped midway and had to abort. Commander Indrajit Sharma had to continue with only INS Nirbhat. But soon, he receives a communication stating that another team from Bombay was about to join them. The new team consisted of 2 missile boats, INS Nipat and INS Veer, along with 2 anti-submarine frigates, INS Kiltan and INS Kachar, and a fleet tanker INS Poshak. At noon, they had reached 250 nautical miles south of Karachi, but they maintained their position outside the surveillance range of Pakistan Air Force, waiting for end of daylight. In the evening, the missile boats advanced to a point 70 nautical miles south of Karachi, but they got detected by a radar in Manora. The headquarters were quickly informed about this, but strangely, no one in the headquarters took it seriously. Just at that point of time, INS Nirghat's radar picked up a ship. It was PNS Khaibar, the formidable Pakistani destroyer that was a key member of the fleet that bombarded the city of Dwarika in 1965. It was time for revenge. Nirghat sailed forward and fired its first stick missile at Khaibar. Khaibar assumed that the missile was from an Indian aircraft, thus it engaged its anti-aircraft systems. But the missile was from a warship. Suddenly a flash illuminated the horizon, followed by a thunderous explosion that echoed across the sea. The missile had found its mark. It hit the right side of the ship, exploding the first boiler room. As a result of this, the ship lost propulsion and was flooded with smoke. But somehow it was still afloat. Commander Indrajit Sharma ordered another strike, a second missile that hit the second boiler room. This sank the ship completely along with its entire crew of 222 members. The Killer Squadron soon verified 2 more targets in the area northwest of Karachi. Around 11 pm, INS Nipat fired 2 stick missiles, one at cargo vessel MV Venus Challenger and the other at its escort PNS Shahjahan, a C-class destroyer. The Venus Challenger was actually carrying ammunition for the Pakistani forces from a US military base in Singapore. Thus, it exploded immediately after the missile hit. By this point, Pakistan Navy were aware of Indian Navy's presence. Thus, they dispatched PNS Muhafiz, a minesweeper, to counter India. But INS Kiltan tracked it before it could reach them. INS Veer was ordered to fire. PNS Muhafiz also sank at 11:20 pm. The Killer Squadron successfully destroyed each and every obstacle that came their way. But it was time to complete the primary objective of Admiral S.M. Nanda's plan, to destroy the Kemari oil terminal that stored more than 50% of Pakistan's fuel reserves. So INS Nipat sailed towards Karachi. It placed itself just 14 nautical miles south of Karachi harbour and then targeted the Kemari oil storage. 2 missiles were launched. One misfired, but the other hit the oil tanks. Upon impact, it caused a spectacular fire that set the place ablaze during midnight. This fire was visible from miles, creating a massive psychological impact on Pakistan. The Killer Squadron, on the other hand, returned without a single casualty. Pakistan suffered a huge loss of warships, fuel, and morale. The Pakistani forces had to retaliate. On 6 December, they launched air raids targeting the Karachi Port, trying to damage the missile boats that targeted them. However, Admiral S.M. Nanda had anticipated this. He had already ordered all the warships to leave the Karachi Port for Mumbai. Thus, the air raids failed completely. But India didn't stop here. Admiral S.M. Nanda devised another daring mission named Operation Python. On the night of 8 December, another small strike group attacked Karachi. This group once again attacked the Kemari oil fields. They even sank the fuel tanker SS Gloucester, fleet tanker PNS Dhaka, and the British merchant ship SS Harmata. These two operations inflicted a crippling blow to Pakistan's economy. The loss was estimated to be $3 billion. As a result of the destruction caused by the Indian Navy, neutral merchant vessels soon started seeking safe passage from Indian authorities before heading to Karachi. Gradually, neutral ships ceased sailing for Karachi. In effect, this created a naval blockade which suffocated Pakistan's economy. Ultimately, on 16 December 1971, Lieutenant General Niazi, the commander of Pakistan's forces in East Pakistan, signed the instrument of surrender. Indian Navy's strategic brilliance, adaptability, and courage played a pivotal role in overpowering Pakistan. They demonstrated how wars are won with innovative tactics and unwavering determination. After the war, United States recognized India as the superior power in Indo-Pacific and thus acted quickly to improve bilateral relations with India. Today, India proudly celebrates 4th December as Navy Day, honoring the bravery and remarkable achievement of the Indian Navy during the 1971 war.